Hello there. I think it's amazing when people start a video like that and they're just reading away and sort of, oh, hello. It's a tendency of newer ones in particular to make them reminiscent of children's TV presenters and so on, to just make it look as if they're just seeing children for the first time. It's quaint, I suppose, but essentially foolish. This is a rather rare video in the sense that it was, well, not really a demand, but a recommendation that I should make such a thing. One of my newer subscribers recommended he enjoys my rambling, he says, so I should just switch on the camera and tell what he called funny dad jokes. So here I am on this website, 145 best dad jokes that will have the whole family laughing. Things I do for you. And, well, let's just sample a few and see whether it's any good. Singing in the shower is fun until you get soap in your mouth. Then it's a soap opera. What do you call a fish wearing a bow tie? Sophisticated. What do you call a factory that makes okay products? A satisfactory. Have you heard about the chocolate record player? It sounds pretty sweet. I know 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why. I mean, be honest, you're cringing at this point. This is not the sort of way that you want me to make a video. I tell you what, why don't I attempt to tell a joke of my own and see whether it'll come off? If you're a father watching this, or you're thinking about becoming a father, here are some dad jokes that you can try out for yourself. What's short and fat and has difficulty spinning round in a narrow corridor? A 4-year-old with a javelin through its head. What is blue and orange and floats on the surface of water? A baby with burst armbands. What's green and orange and floats on the surface of water? Same baby 6 months later. How many blondes does it take to tile a roof? It depends how thinly you slice them. Here are some dad jokes for you to try if you like, and your children will definitely not be taken away from you. I'll just put any old thing up there. Seeing as these reaction videos are all the rage now, and since I've been told that just rambling is something that is enjoyed by the few people who watch me, let's go back and back. Let's look at one of the earlier videos that I made, because I'm told that my voice is just so gripping that people go back and watch some of my old content. This is the first one that's listed. What do you think? What do you think? Any good? Any good at all? Yeah, this is an early one. I was a student, as you can probably tell in this one, and I was just testing what exactly was the good thing to, the correct position, which room would be best for a video. As it happens, I didn't really film in any of them. What about this one?
Look at this foolish animal.
Look indeed. That's a little kitten, and I'm also with it in this video. This is like a primitive game of peekaboo with a cat. Yeah. What happened is, a friend of ours, we tried to secrete a little kitten in our house. It was meant as a Christmas present. And that kitten is not a kitten anymore. In fact, 10 years later, it's a rather old cat now. If it's still alive, I presume it is. The fellow we bought it for didn't actually want it. Now, I thought that cats really were attention-grabbing. I remember reading something somewhere that people look up cats more even than pornography, which must really confuse the furries who kind of look at both. But still, I was looking at this and I thought, well, maybe this will be quite appealing to some people, but no, hardly anyone saw even that. But let's go even further back than this. Let's look at one that's now on private.
Welcome to my house, dear strangers. You are in a unique position, aren't you? There can't be many collective audiences who can take a glance at an embryo in its mother's womb unless it's on television, whatever one of those is. Forgive.
I can't believe I said that.
I'm not looking at you fully. I know that if I were a little older and out of here, you'd call me bad-mannered for not meeting your eyes while I talk. Thing is, turning round is a bit of a piggy when your head is the same size as your body. It's comforting to be in a mother's womb, isn't it? I know it's a while since most of you have been there, but trust me, not to know, not to see it, not to feel. I'm neither girl nor boy at this stage. I'm just curled up in a fetal position, unsurprisingly, like anyone else at this point. I could belong to several animals, really, to look at me at a glance. I could almost be a little fish inside an egg. I'm certainly not much bigger, although I'm glad there are not sea creatures anywhere around here who would snap me up. Goodness knows survival is hard enough at this point. Any doctor would tell you that. Not just a doctor, but a nurse, a midwife, a pregnant woman, of course, and certainly the baby itself, even pre-babies like me. But of course, silly me. We can't talk at this stage, can we?
This was portrayed with me wrapped in a silken sheet behind with a light against me, and this gave me a very much fetal or embryonic appearance, as is the intention. This was a three-part... This was back in the days when YouTube was divided into multiple things. You could be comedian, guru, director. I think there was one other one I've forgotten. Artist might have been the other one. Or no, musician. Musician was the other one. And on the basis of which you chose to be, you could make your video longer than 10 minutes. It started out as being about 5 minutes, and then a little bit... Then things got a lot longer. I think a comedian could go for half an hour or an hour at one point. Now we're at the point where ASMR videos are out, and they can last for multiple hours if they want to. But it wasn't the case then, and so this video is divided into 3 parts. I did want it filmed, and I did get it filmed, but and the reason I ultimately didn't leave it on was because there are 2 other people in it. It's mostly a monologue, but there's the man that introduces the whole thing, and there's the girl that acts... She at one point acts as a nurse towards the end of my... I appear at one point as a fetus, as you just saw. At another point I appear as an elderly man with a stroke, and I end the whole thing with as a disabled person. And so she plays various nurses and so on that don't generally talk, but they're there. The real reason I got rid of it is not just because she was fine with me uploading it, and I did, but the main reason I got rid of it is because I didn't want to film it under those circumstances. I got it filmed on the night that I was being examined. I was still a student in that thing, with nice stage, really dark, loads of proper lights and so on, a real, a sort of good camera of quality. And for whatever reason, the camera just would not work when I was there. So I had to do it all over again in a poorly lit room. We tried to draw the curtains and such, but it didn't really make a lot of difference. So that's why I got rid of it. And that was made in 2008, so I was quite a young man. Well, I still am a young man, of course. It's just my dazzling good looks are a little less dazzling now. This is not, by the way, the only play in which I appeared as a student. The girl I just mentioned that was in my play, I appeared in hers. She did a play on institutionalised women, and showing parallels between celebrities in sort of drug rehabilitation and the sort of 19th century concept of women in asylums, lunatic asylums. Myself and another male student, well, he played an ordinary doctor, and I portrayed this really evil, vicious, sadistic, almost male version of Nurse Ratched kind of doctor, sort of utterly without morals, utterly absolute in his authority, and would humiliate the patients as best he could, and would sort of come close, sort of overtones of sexual harassment and so on. A girl from the audience came up to me afterwards and I said, "Oh, you made me cringe every time you appeared on stage." I said, "Well, weren't you disappointed with the other male doctor that was there? He didn't do anything about it." "No, your character would have killed him." So I guess I'm quite good at playing evil. So that was filmed, but one of the girls that she filmed it, and I offered to platform it on my channel, didn't hear back from them. There was another one we did, loosely based on Shakespeare, very loosely, where I had to portray Richard III, but he was written as a gothic bisexual psychopath with necrophiliac tendencies. It was a fun character to play. We acted that one in a club. We rented out a club. It's not the only time I've worn leather. I've worn leather blazers and jackets and such, but these were sort of leather biker trousers that were evidently made by the most vicious man-haters in the middle of North Korea that were very uncomfortable when I had to climb onto a table. It's the only time in my life I've ever worn makeup, the sort of chalk white makeup that gothic people wear, and it was administered by a very gay, very feminine member of the cast. I actually thought about dressing up as this character again in subsequent things, to sort of have him as an alter ego, you know, sort of evil alter ego. But although that play also was filmed twice in a row, one of the girls that had asked for it to be filmed was a bit of a perfectionist, so there's footage of it somewhere. What I'm saying is, there's footage. Isn't this how cancel culture works? Or what they're calling it now? I'll become famous, and then this footage of me as various other hideous characters is going to leak somewhere, and I'll be unmoved because I'm beyond the point of humiliation. So there's a lot of stuff out there that had the potential to be on YouTube but never was. Let's see what else we can find.
The middle-aged man going out to walk his dog is back. Going by dress sense, in case you missed that.
Yes, this is not one of my best videos, though somehow, and for reasons I cannot explain, it's my most viewed to date. I'm just explaining what a chav is. It's quite dated now. Don't ask me how it's the most viewed one. Here's a video called Mutant.
This lopsided rabbit is apparently a reindeer.
Imagine that staring at you as you open the fridge.
Yeah, it often struck me with those things about how lazy they are, because though, you know, those are bunnies, they're chocolate bunnies, and all the manufacturers do around Christmas time is make their noses red and paint antlers on the wrapping paper near where the ears are. It's ridiculous. That's not a reindeer. Moreover, what is odd is when you have them in the fridge, they're just staring at you. Open the fridge and there they are, and that struck me as amusing, but I guess I'd had to have the camera focused on them for there to be any real humour.
These changes, people, are a joke, like Facebook, but with no laughs nor poke. This user now is quite provoked by Google plus YouTube.
Quite a dated video, this. This is when there was a sort of unholy alliance between Google Plus, which barely exists now, and YouTube. It would have gone viral, but Google very quickly realised that it didn't like videos that didn't like Google Plus, and so it didn't really go viral at all. But it doesn't even matter, because, you know, Google Plus doesn't exist now, really, so I kind of won in the end. Now, I've just shown you the highest viewed one. It's also very massively voted down, and I don't blame the people that did that. But this is the one that is not the highest view, but it's got the highest number of thumbs up, 30 to date.
As you'll deduce from the title of my video, Peter Oakley, better known by his screen name Geriatric 1927, died a few hours ago.
Yeah, that was quite sad, and I do remember seeing. He was very big back in 2008, and I did enjoy watching it. Look, I've just looked at Geriatric 1927's account. It's still up, and his earliest video is still his highest viewed. That and his second but last one, they're both the highest viewed ones. And people still watch them and comment them and say, I miss you, and I love you, I'm glad to come back and reminisce, or I'm sorry I didn't realise you'd passed on, and all stuff like that. It's interesting as well how Geriatric 27's early videos saying, tell Renetto to come back. Renetto used to be a lot bigger. He was, you know, a lot of these channels have either become less relevant with time, but, you know, those of us that joined back in 2006 still remember them. But not only is that one of the highest viewed videos that I've had, or highest rated, it's also one that has the most high profile person on Zipster, who is an American friend of Geriatric 27, who's a kind of, well, he's an older YouTuber that does drag, or used to in his younger days. Nonetheless, as unlikely as the friendship was perhaps between him and Peter Oakley, they were friends, and him coming and saying that he liked the video, that meant a lot. And there were a larger number of people that commented on it, but many of them have lost their accounts since then. Let's try another video that I've not really watched in a while. Sheep on acid.
Once upon a time there were two lovely little sheep, one of whom was called Marvin.
They loved apples so much, and over here you can see that one of the trees has been stripped bare, and sadly the sheep over here has dropped dead from having eaten so much. You can see the vultures are over here coming down to peck at it, and you can see that it's all going fine and hunky-dory in this area. Yeah, I got the idea of doing that when I literally got that book when I was in at a camp. It wasn't a camp in Bournemouth, but we used to go to the day in Bournemouth, and I used to be in charge of some children. And while a friend of mine used to go and look for science fiction, I'd have to sit down on the settee with these little children and calm down. So I got this random book out, Sheep. It's not called Sheep on Acid. It's called Marvin Gets Mad. It's the maddest book ever. And they were all I was pretending. I did a little trick that I did with my younger cousins. I remember getting that book, The Enormous Turnip, with them, and I'd make up what the book was about by looking at the strange illustrations. And I tried doing that with Marvin Gets Mad, and it kind of worked when the children were there, but I don't think it translates so well as a YouTube video when nobody's laughing. Except the viewers out of pity. Yeah, wetting myself on the wrong bus. Alright, the other day several very odd things happened which I simply had to share with you, even though I hardly ever speak on this thing. I was out shopping, which also does not happen very often, and neither on those occasions when I do shop is it the only time when something odd has happened to me. I mean, there was that occasion when I was in Bournemouth where I was at Waterstone's bookshop and fell down some stairs. Not that it mattered, because I didn't break anything apart from a book stand nearly, but this was even stranger than that. Yeah, the occasion to which I refer here was, again, when I was in Bournemouth. Something about that place must be cursed. When I fell down some stairs, it was quite funny on that occasion. I was literally just coming down those stairs in some rather flat-soled shoes. Almost lost my balance. Fell against the man in front of me. He didn't fall, but I then fell down again and fell straight down. Fell into a book stand. The shopkeeper insisted that I took an armchair, even though I'd be careless. And, will you have some glass of water? I'm amazed he was afraid that I'd sue him or something. Anyway, good times. Yeah, wetting myself on the wrong bus was quite a good video, or I thought so anyway. Something that maybe noticed about it is I'm keep getting kind of worried that at the time I was using editing software, but then once I'd edited the thing and put the thing on YouTube, I say several times through that video that I'm afraid that the movement of my lips won't synchronise with what I'm saying. And that did tend to be true whenever I edited things. But suddenly my editing software decided to work. I've never been a confident editor, but at least it worked in my favour there. Here's some rather rubbish art. And now I'll turn it round on the paper. And we have the most beautiful hair. They're not bad. I've done better, but I thought, why not? What I'm trying to convey is that I've dealt with autism-hating trolls on the internet before, and I was going to let this one pass. I noticed, incidentally, that Katie Hopkins' remarks on autism didn't generate anything like the same sort of scandal as her remarks on immigrants did, for example. Nobody's called for her to be arrested. Not as many videos were made about it. In fact, I think at the time, on the day that she said it, I saw only one. That was a video calling for her to apologise. And I was going to make a video just like this, pretty much pointing out, look, you're not going to get an apology out of her. Yeah, this is probably the most personal video I made, in the sense that I am on the autistic spectrum. I don't actually think that Hopkins was serious when she made that comment, but you know, I didn't think she needed to apologise. I just ignored her. Boys with their toys.
Today,
oh, and girls.
we are going to be talking about masturbation.
Why? Why are we talking about this with children? Why? Yeah, for the record, my objection to people, parents teaching their children about sexual things, it's not that I don't think they should be told about such things. I don't understand the point of embarrassing children whilst in front of a camera. I just don't get that. I can't enjoy that kind of thing. It's why I'm quite straight-laced. Let's look at something that's more recent. Most of the so-called liberal lesbians and all these groups, they just want to have the guy with the duck's ass haircut and the James Dean outfit, because who does James Dean want but slapping girls around? I've not watched this video in a long time. I said it was more recent, but it's recent as in 2018, so we're still talking a few years ago. And I don't know why it jumps there, but it does. Not a lot I can do about it. That was Alex Jones lost his account on YouTube, and I just reacted by reading an exact quotation of what he said. It does seem to make a difference depending on what accent you have. Let's come a little closer to modern times. Yes, well, the only reason I switched this on is because I'm bored out of my mind. You can see here how I'm unshaven and revolting. I'm standing here in my pyjamas, and really, it's the height of the coronavirus, fresh from Wuhan, a wonderful import from the wet markets and the bat-eating manners that they have over there. Yeah, that was me getting very bored, and so I decided to make the series Cooking with Corona, which I'm still doing, and I've still got loads to upload. Okay, well that was my little dad joke ramble, I guess. All the rest, anyone that's watched me will have seen. And this is sort of the thing that we all go through, isn't it? We all try to find ourselves on YouTube, and it just made me think about this again, what with whether you're a comedian, a director, guru, or musician. And I've just noticed that one of my videos, one of the Why English Such as a Confusing Language videos, has been partially censored in at least some countries because of the copyrighted music, and though it was used under fair use. I can't be bothered. It's only one. I can cope. But I think that, YouTube has changed for the best, largely. There's some things that I prefer about the old, and this one, I don't actually get as angry about changes on YouTube as I used to. The most infamous one was probably,
Whoever did this, get the sack for Google Plus YouTube.
As you've just seen. So, not the most interesting video. Well, interesting to those who like my voice. And why wouldn't you like this, this serenade of a voice? But it's just to put people off, because I've got other things to be doing. I'm just thinking about what I can do next. I've got things planned, but there's one video I really do want to make, but it requires different editing software with which I'm unfamiliar. I hope to get it up soon. But I do have other cooking videos that I'm going to make. I've got another book review. Well, there's J.K. Rowling's book that I'm already looking at, but there's another one that I really think that some of you are going to like, or anyone that likes me will like them, because it'll be about an author that people will dislike. So, that's it for today. It's a bit all over the place, I know, but it'll appease those who like me, and it'll annoy those that don't. And for the rest, it'll just make people... It's a nice old-style video blog. Video blog, that's an old-fashioned way of saying it. Most people mostly say vlog, but even vlogs are rather dated now, aren't they? And that's one change I don't like. I used to really enjoy the whole thing of just switching on a camera in your bedroom and just talking into the lens. And I'm not in my bedroom. In fact, I don't think I've ever done one from my bedroom, even as a student, but I'm doing it in my living room, so same principle. And I'm still doing it old style with just an ordinary camera that I'm holding in my hand. I've used a webcam a few times and never been entirely satisfied with the results, and you can tell which ones were done with webcams, by the way. So, hope you liked it, and if you didn't, well, there's not a lot I can do about it. Till next time, ta-ta!